As you are learning, you are becoming stronger. Think about that for a minute. So you are learning, and yes, you are becoming stronger. You're learning all about who you really are. You're learning about toxicity. You're learning about what the narcissist is capable of, and you are rebuilding. You're processing things. You are also learning all the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle, such as what is gaslighting. You did not know what that was. You didn't know what triangulation was, my least favorite thing these creatures implement. You probably didn't know what financial abuse was. That's a huge, huge topic, and it's becoming more and more to the forefront. You also didn't know what projection was, mirroring, object constancy. You probably didn't know what ghosting was. You probably didn't even know what the silent treatment was. All of these things you're educating yourself on, and as you're learning more about the behaviors and the mannerisms and the toxic levels of the narcissist, you're also getting stronger. Remember, the stronger you get, the weaker the narcissist pull to you will become. The weaker that pull is, the better off you will be. Eventually, in time, you will go no contact. Eventually, in time, you will block that person. Eventually, in time, you will remove them and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. Once you understand that the person that you're considering, yes, the narcissist, they targeted you and they fed off of you. When I say they fed off of you, what I mean is literally, anytime they communicated with you, they were gaining something from you and you were losing something, whether it was a couple minutes of your life, maybe it was a couple dollars, maybe it was a trip you took them to you gave them the ride to the grocery store, whatever it was, you were doing something to benefit them. And it was costing you something. Now, way back when you were in that relationship, you didn't look at it that way. You just thought you were in a kind, loving, stable, healthy, committed to a reciprocal relationship. On your end, that would be accurate. On the end of the narcissist, everything was all hunky-dory, fine and dandy, as long as you were doing what you were supposed to do. When it was their turn to do anything to help you out, of course, they would be nowhere to be found. And they would make excuses and they would blame you and say that they couldn't do it, or you could figure it out, or someone else could do it, or they would claim something. And what would you have to do? Well, you would be devalued. You'd get rejected. You would be looking inward and saying, what's going on here? I keep on helping this person out and I keep on asking for a little bit of help here and there every once in a while, and they're nowhere to be found. Well, remember, you didn't know what you know now. You didn't realize that that person secretly was enjoying your demise. Now, you may say, that's a little rough, Andrew. Why would you say that? Well, number one, it's true. Number two, I lived it. Number three, the narcissist needs supply. What is supply to the narcissist? It is your demise. It is also anything that makes you you, which means this. The narcissist likes negative supply and positive supply. Positive supply is what you would call, or I would call, being yourself, living, laughing, just being yourself. That's great. Well, the narcissist can feed off of that. But what they really want to do is steal that from you and turn you inside out. So you are not happy. So you are throwing rage fits. So you are slamming doors and you're calling them out. Essentially, that's negative supply. And the narcissist loves that. They love negative supply more than positive supply, because what the narcissist is, at their core, they are dark energy. You may say, well, what's dark energy, Andrew? Dark energy is the polar opposite of you. Dark energy is somebody who gets off on destroying another person's life. Dark energy is somebody who's trying to collect souls. Dark energy is someone who's trying to collect people and relationships. Dark energy is somebody who wants to capture a person, figuratively and literally trap them, spin them around in this hamster wheel, and take everything from them possible and leave them frozen in time. That's what a discard is, if you want the truth. The discard, essentially, is when somebody is crumpled up like a sheet of paper thrown away in the freeway. I've shared that example thousands of times, but it's also when your life stopped and you were frozen. And again, I can say that because that's how I was living for quite a long period of time post-relationship. Because when you don't know what you are up against, and you don't know that perhaps you were in a relationship with a toxic person, perhaps even a narcissist or worse, then you don't know how the ending happens. Well, the ending comes out of left field, usually with a discard. But again, as I shared earlier in the video, you didn't know the definitions. You didn't know what these people were capable of. You thought they were like-minded. You thought they actually had a heart and that they actually cared about humanity. Well, they don't, and they don't. All they want to do is run through life and destroy whatever they get their grubby little fingers on. But again, back then when you were in the relationship, you didn't know anything. You had no idea. If you did, believe me, you would have figured this out a lot quicker and you would have left that relationship most likely. But again, you weren't taught this in school, so how could you know? I wasn't either. How could I know? But I know now, and I've mastered the art, and I do mean that word, of breaking free. It's an art. It's not a very simple one-size-fits-all accomplishment. This will take time. It's a process. It's a journey. I've shared this for years. The healing path is not linear. It will take time. It's going to take a lot of time, an awful lot of time, but in your time you will heal. And why I said the word art, what I meant by saying that, and I'm free flowing here in the Carolina woods, so you should know that that's how I use my lexicon when I create a video. But the art means this. There's a fine line between calling out the narcissist. There's a fine line between exposing the narcissist. There's a fine line between going in the weeds with the narcissist where they thrive and doing what I do or did, and I teach it every single day, which is called taking the high road. Taking the high road is what I've done. It's what I've done my whole entire life. I will always do it. It's in my DNA. It's how I'm built. Taking the high road is not exposing the narcissist. It's not calling them out. It's behind the scenes when you're healing and when you're trying to cut the four ties from them, which include the emotional, the financial, the physical, and of course the spiritual tie. When you're doing that, you're working behind the scenes. You're doing mental push-ups. You're doing mental jujitsu. You're trying to figure out how they did what they did, where you can improve, where you can put yourself back together, but you have to do it under the radar. Now that's just a little sliver. That's probably about 1% of what I share with people during one-on-one sessions, specifically when we are creating, developing, and preparing to execute an exit plan. Again, if you're interested in having a one-on-one session with me, drop an email at narcdailyvideos@gmail.com. That's narcdailyvideos@gmail.com. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But having said that, you're learning. And as you're learning, you're getting stronger. And you didn't know back then what you know now. Now, with the wisdom that you're acquiring, you now realize that these people, the narcissists, plural, they don't change. They literally get worse over time. And sometimes you see little spurts of them getting worse quicker than other periods of time. Sometimes it appears as if the narcissist is actually improving. Why? Because they have what they need for that moment in time. Example, let's say you had a month, and I doubt you ever had that, but let's say you had a month when it was little drama, little nonsense, little doors being slammed in your face, little people, little amounts of the narcissist walking 30 feet in front of you, and little triangulation. And essentially they were present and they were around you and they weren't abusing it nearly as much as they had been doing in the past. You must ask yourself a question. Why was that little month, if you had it, and I'm sure you didn't, but if you did, why did that happen during that stretch? See, I'll give you the answer right now, and you probably didn't even know why. The reason why is because the narcissist was getting supply elsewhere. Now, you could say that you were giving them supply during that month. I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were doing everything you could and more. But I can also assure you, the narcissist wasn't just communicating with you. They were communicating with other people. And I can also assure you, if you didn't have the answer as to why they were in a good mood for that month, it's because it came from elsewhere. That's one micro example of peeling the onion back one layer and then peeling it back another 500 layers. And when you peel those back, there will be another 10,000 to peel back. The healing path is a very, very, very challenging experience. I, again, have healed. I'm 99.99%. If anyone tells you that they're 100%, don't believe them. That's not true. No one will ever be 100%. And the reason I know that is because you could still smell a perfume or a cologne. You could still get a trigger from a song. The narcissist could still rear their ugly head and attempt to hoover. Anything can happen. That's why you need to stay on your A game. Remember, you were grade A supply for the narcissist. Now you have your A game lined up by implementing your boundaries, by going no contact, blocking that person, etc. And now you're getting stronger. And as you're getting stronger, you're realizing that relationship wasn't as bad as you thought it was. It was a lot worse. Again, I'm sugarcoating it. It was way worse. Now, if you were to explain that to an average human being, and let's say they gave you the time of day, and for, let's say, 8 hours, they would sit down and talk with you and listen to you about your experience, they would not understand much of what you said. What they would probably do is say, yeah, that sounds like just an average breakup. What's the big deal? Get out there, start dating, who cares? Because it will go right over their head. Now, you may have already experienced that. And then and if you have, drop comments below. But this is an example of why getting out of the narcissistic relationship is but one step. After you're out, you still need to heal. You still need to have your boundaries, and you still need to understand that the narcissist is everywhere. Not the person you're considering, but narcissists plural. They're everywhere. That's why you need to bring your A game, and you need to have a small footprint. Many people ask me, what does have a small footprint mean? It means, think about your carbon footprint, which used to be popular years ago. Maybe it still is. I have no idea. What a carbon footprint used to be is how much trash do you produce for one human being? Like, do you have the amount of trash for one person or for 15? Basically, do you waste? And with the narcissist post-relationship, it's not necessarily that. What it is, though, is you want to really make your decisions wisely, methodically, patiently. You have to practice stoicism. You'll have to practice radical acceptance. And you will have to really reel in who you trust. Because remember, the narcissist has their tentacles everywhere. They had flying monkeys all around you, spying on you. Whether you knew it or not, they were there. And that's only some of the people that you know of. The narcissist has connections in a lot of different countries that you won't even know about. Now, you may say right there, well, wait a minute. The narcissist I know, they've lived in the same hometown for the last 70 years. They've never left this little town, and they don't know anybody abroad. Well, right there tells me that you don't know as much as you think you do, because the narcissist has a smartphone, and they also have AI. They also can use different language settings to communicate, to translate. See what I'm saying? So don't be so sure that the narcissist isn't communicating with other people. Having said all those things, wrapping your head around the fact that the narcissist did what they did deliberately, knowingly and willingly, because they wanted to feed off of you, it's disgusting. It's abhorrent. It is absolutely one of the most life-altering experiences to go through. It is mind-blowing to wrap your head around the fact that another person, another human being, who walks and talks just like you, actually could have so much disdain, jealousy, envy within them that they actually targeted a human being, which was you and it was me, and they tried to literally put shackles around that person's arms, legs, neck, and other appendages, whatever they are, and have that person do things for them and punish them for doing those things. Now, again, that example may be a little graphic, but it's true. Think about what the trauma bond is. Trauma bond is something you can't see, you can feel it, you can't touch it, and you know it's around you. It's that uneasy feeling. It's that feeling of wanting to, or being compelled to communicate with the abuser and feeling loyal and subservient to them and getting accustomed to the high, low, push, pull, the uncertainty and everything. Well, that all goes away when you heal. And how you heal, and I'll just give you one nugget here, is go no contact. That's not the solution. It is one key component. Other key components I share with people during one-on-one sessions, but what I'm sharing with you here before I close the video is the more you learn, the stronger you will get. That's why I create videos every day. Again, after my discard, after the relationship ended, if anybody, I mean anybody, had knocked on my door and said, guess what? I was watching you and I knew that something was going to go sideways. I didn't know when, but the person that you were engaged with, meaning interacting with, I will say, and I meant interacting, they're toxic. And I've watched them blow up other people's lives. And they tried to blow up my life too, but I couldn't tell you that back then. I will start that example again because I kind of got sidetracked when I said the word engaged. If somebody post-narcissistic relationship had knocked on my door and said, hey, yeah, this person you're considering, your person that just did what they did, they're a narcissist, I probably still would not have believed it. But it would have been in my mind and I would have thought about it. And maybe I would have processed it that day, maybe a couple of days later, weeks, I don't know. But somebody at least would have shown interest. But that never happened. You see, nobody cares about anybody else until it happens to them. I'm referencing narcissism. And you may think, well, actually, that's true. But why? It's because nobody thinks narcissism is as bad as it is until it happens to them. And when it happens to them, it changes their life forever. It changes their relationships, their health, their money, their time, their focus, their purpose, their mindset, their hobbies, everything about them. And that's why I create videos every day, to let you know that if you're out, stay out. If you're not out, you need to get out. And any way you cut it, the narcissist will continue to feed off of you if you allow them. Don't allow them Continue to focus on yourself and get stronger. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You're not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. And I lost my train of thought there for a moment because I said the word engaged, and you all may have thought I meant engaged to a person. So what I meant was engaging with somebody. So I just want to clear that part up. And I also want to let you know, you're on the path. I am on the path. You could be way in front of me. You could be walking right side by side with me. You could be behind me. It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is you continue to get the wisdom. Continue to keep your cup full. Continue to believe in yourself. Continue to understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, third. And understand that the stronger you get, the weaker the narcissist gets. That is what they never wanted you to figure out, among about 10,000 other things. But that's why you need to really get this message. The narcissist will never, and I mean never, improve. They all get older. They all get worse. They all blame anyone who gets too close to them. But what they won't do ever is be accountable or introspect or take ownership of their poor behavior. It will never happen. So that's why you need to continue to keep your cup full. Continue to get educated, become awakened and aware, educated and empowered, and realize that you are stronger than you know. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.